It's the Q&A.
It is.
What does that stand for, Krista?
Question and answer session.
It was sponsored by our patrons on Patreon, because Patreon. But also the people on Ko-fi, because they've been giving us money too.
But it's so impersonal. And I think it's coffee.
Oh, is your mic okay?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like you pushed it away. Sorry.
Yours is farther away than his is.
It's fine.
Believe me, I don't know if it's because this is like the golden mic and it always has been, but it's always loud.
Yeah, it's true.
The trolls that are always telling us that the audio is bad, congratulations, you have definitely induced some kind of psychosis.
We spent 2 hours the other night in the studio just messing with mics, and then Wendell spent a whole afternoon with a guy who does sound, just playing with the sound, and discovered so many cables that were messed up.
Threw away a lot of cables.
None of this are Q's and or A's. So let's get to it. Number 1 from Godzilla, but spelled with a Y. It is, how did the three of you come to know each other and start level 1?
It's a long
I'm
story.
not answering part 2 of that question.
We found each other at a support group.
No, we worked together. That's how we met.
It was a support group for technology addiction. I don't even have my 3-day chip.
We started streaming together long before we did level 1. We were streaming for like a year and a half, almost 2 years before we started level 1. So
that was a lot of fun as somebody who doesn't like the whole idea of streaming and like doing anything on the internet. Why would anyone care? It is actually kind of a lot of fun.
Streaming's probably one of my favorite things we do.
Everything else we do is work or this.
Yeah.
So it's a small list. It's not like we go whitewater rafting every once in a while.
Well, you don't know that.
We've also...
How would I not know that if we do it as a group? It's like Mr. T where y'all drug me and take me on adventures.
You're just passed out in a raft. I think this is liability, ma'am. No, it's fine. He's having a great time.
You wake up on the plane and you're like trying to get out the emergency exit. And it's like, what did you do?
Or maybe he's just skydiving.
Now, this is a very interesting username. And is it a coincidence that this is a Krista-specific question? The username is imhigh.today.
Oh.
And the question is, how often does Krista go into the server closet?
Almost never. Do not trust me. Do not trust me. Do not trust me to do anything with your server in real life. Say that confidently.
And then we have from Tisk, who's Tisk is not a hyperlink. Why is that?
It was copied and pasted, yeah. He had a note on his account.
What's Ryan's favorite Taylor Swift song? And then a follow-up. What's Ryan's Future's Cat's favorite Taylor Swift song? I don't... what's the one about... the
one guy she broke up with?
Nah, it's like she's going to take you on adventures. Oh, actually, I do have a favorite Taylor Swift song. I just thought about this. She did an acoustic performance with a bunch of country music players. I don't like country music. It's called Red. I don't like the overproduced version of it, but the live version was good.
Oh, and what would if you had a cat?
No, the cat would like that one too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So listen, if I get a cat and it's talking about I know you were trouble when you walked in, it's right back to the shelter.
I would never adopt a cat that liked that song.
Absolutely not.
I don't know any Taylor Swift songs, so I'm just smiling and laughing along and hoping no one notices.
Now we have Goalkeeper. Now I wonder if Goalkeeper is just another way to say gatekeeper. Because this is a thread about a question about the forum. And the question is, what's your favorite thread on the forum?
I like the art and photography, or post your photography thread. I watch that one a lot.
I did a thread a long time ago about how to have an argument on the internet, and I did that on the airplane on the way back from a trip, and I was sleep deprived at the time, and you can definitely tell when I was writing that post.
So you liked your own status?
Oh yeah.
You liked your own thread?
I would like threads about me, but they just don't seem to exist. I don't know. People on the forum have poor taste.
Oh, there have definitely been people that have tried to start a thread to reference you, but you just don't care. So
yeah, you're not on the forum. So
I've closed it. I just don't log in.
Okay.
I do get the little notices, although there's 2 accounts on there, and people get confused about which one I'm using. Which, whatever, I'll forgive them. For Wendell, this is from Octobyte, byte with a Y. Wendell, do you still use the Epiphone Avio 1 USB capture device on a regular basis? How's it been for you?
That is our B capture device. So like pretty much all of our streams and any type of thing that we're doing other than like game capture, because it doesn't have the output, we're using that. And anytime I have to travel, that's the travel capture adapter. The paint is like chipped and weird, but otherwise it's held up pretty well.
All those USB capture devices are trash, though. But that one's like the least trash.
Yeah.
So that was one of the first, like, I think, quote unquote reviews we did on the channel.
Yeah, I mean, you have to like unplug it and plug it back in on Ryzen, which is probably the ASMedia chipset more than anything, but it's still the most reliable of the ones that we've tested that are USB.
Mr. Shades. How cool is Mr. Shades?
Super cool.
He wears his sunglasses at night and during the day. For all three of you, what's the first thing you like to put on a new computer besides software updates and drivers? I mean, the answer is obvious, but it's not exciting. It's WinRAR. Right?
I think for me it's usually like Photoshop or Krita or...
I mean, that only counts for Windows computers because you have uncompressing naturally and other operating systems. But
I'm not really sure. I think like I don't
VLC is a big one.
Yeah, VLC. Yeah. I think probably Chocolatey, like on Windows systems, Chocolatey for package management, because then I can just install VLC and like a million things all in one go. Like I can install VLC and Chrome and Firefox and like 50 other programs with just one command.
I think you're kind of betraying the nature of the question with the answer, though. Whatever, we answered it.
On Linux, it's CPU Freak, always.
KH Audio asks, what are your long-term goals with both the local business and Level 1 Techs? Christy, you can talk about your 2-year plan.
What? I don't have a 2-year plan. Ryan thinks that I want to have a kid in the next 2 years.
I remember
there was a stream
where someone said,
"Listen, I would be fine.
2-year plan.
I would be fine in the next 2 years having a child, but like I'm not looking to make that happen anytime soon."
It's not like you've got a plan together and it's like every day it is like, okay, how can I?
Yeah, I'm not managing my like ovulation at this point, so.
Well, you shouldn't, because Zuckerberg will spy on that.
Well, it's true, and then he'll sell me pregnancy stuff.
Honestly, that's kind of like the business plan, because it's not like day 837 empire is created. It's more like, please survive.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, put out this fire. Put out this fire.
I think 2 days this week. Like you have a plan for it's like, oh, I'm gonna work on X, Y, and Z today, and then problems just start happening before you get to work.
Yeah, before
and
you
it
even
just
get in,
rolls, and it's like, okay, I spent the entire day doing that, and that's just how it is.
Managing your email
for the real business, that's kind of just the nature of it.
Yeah,
it's just like, hey.
Listen.
It's just like, how do I get anything done?
When you onboard new people, you can tell that's like, just plunging them into ice water when they start to have to try to experience that. And it's kind of fun to watch because we're so numb to it at this point. Watching other suffer is the only thing that brings us any joy.
most of like our newer employees though, like they're not thrown into the deep end immediately. Like they're not getting clients contacting them all the time, but like over time as you do more projects, they start calling you all the time.
Yeah, but see, we have started being less merciful in terms of just like, here's something that has existed for a long time.
Oh, that's true.
And we've, it's like a mobile home that we've built into a mansion. Go and find the plumbing problem in this room. Just have to deal with it.
There's 2 or 3 little projects like that have turned into that.
Big Al Tech Mediator. Why does he have Mediator in his name?
Oh, because again, forum. Copy pasted.
You can.
Oh, that's his title. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, is that a self-imposed title, or was he granted that?
No, it's self-imposed. I think.
I think you can choose, but
yeah,
a little arrogant, Big Al Tech. Plans for a Level 1 LAN event.
Going to LTX.
That's not your event.
That's not ours.
That's
though.
just you.
Co-opting a different LAN event.
Not even co-opting. You're marking out to somebody else.
I wouldn't mind to do an event like that, but I think it would take a lot of planning and a lot of cash on hand.
I don't think we're there yet. I don't think it would be populated enough.
I don't think so.
It would be like the ball pit event. That would be sad. It'd be like Fortnite Live.
No, it was a DashCon is the ball pit thing you're thinking of.
Yeah,
when they did TumblrCon.
They were both like that.
When we're there, I have enough contacts to make it happen in Kansas City. Nowhere else.
We got to get popular.
The hottest destination.
We got to get popular first. So that's like tying into the last question where it's like, what's our plan?
The flights are easy to Kansas City.
Not Manhattan or Chicago or L.A. or Miami. Kansas City.
Kansas City's a little rough for international people, but for everybody else, it's actually really easy to fly there.
Those limeys will fly over. We'll let them do it. They'll find a way. Revamped Tech asks,
Good Lord, that's long.
with the latest, yes, long question violation. With the latest mess on YouTube, on top of all the monetization issues, how seriously are you guys going to be looking at float playing? Oh my God. And is there a golden feature you would need to switch primary content to? Yeah, here's the golden feature. An audience to discover you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the only downside of float plane, really. That and it's not really open yet.
I mean, monetization on YouTube is nice and everything, but it's very minimal. And it's very undependable. The only reason you want YouTube is to try to get more people on the channel.
Yeah.
Which is
Floatplane is a great distribution platform, but you got to have the audience.
Yeah.
And that's what we lack.
Yeah. But, I mean, Linus is actually doing a lot of work in engineering to make it a great platform, which is good because YouTube used to be that, but YouTube ain't that anymore. It's very bad. Like, it's not even good at distribution anymore. It doesn't distribute to...
No, it's like the same 10 videos recommended all the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to Light of the Seven again, YouTube.
I know, and it's just, how do you screw that up?
YouTube thinks I do.
She consumes so much Game of Thrones content other than the shows themselves.
Yeah, well, listen, I listen to other music too. I listen to other music too, but for whatever reason, YouTube thinks that I want to listen to this one particular, not even like just someone else uploading that same song, the same video of that song over and over again.
That is
I don't want to
It's
anymore.
an epic piece of music, though.
It is, yeah. It's a good piece, but I'm tired of it.
The algorithm is super weird, though, because, like I'll listen to Pogo's Data and Picard a bunch, and it's good use of awesomeness. But then it's like, here's this other channel from some randos that are just screaming into their mic, because it's kind of like Data and Picard. It's like, no, that's not. You missed it thematically. You missed it compositionally. Like, there's no reason for the algorithm to recommend those videos.
I watched a video about flutes last night. I was like, how did this even get recommended to me? Yeah. Like, trying out an Amazon Basics flute, and I was like, I'll click that. Maybe that's why I'm getting weird recommendations. I don't know.
You did it to yourself.
Yeah, who can say?
Amazon.
Either way, float plane, probably not something we're going to actively look at, but if they invite us, maybe we'll just post there too.
Nothing tells a kid you're investing in their education more than an Amazon Basics flute.
It's only $70.
Oh, I thought it'd be cheaper than that.
I couldn't tell it was that different, to be honest, but I don't have much of a musical ear.
What happened to, like, flutophones? Because, like, you know, in the poor hills of, you know, eastern Kentucky, it's like the musical instrument was a $2 piece of plastic that was vaguely flute-like.
Or
talking about a
washboard.
Oh, okay. They called it a flutophone. I don't know.
Naramon. He said, is that a Lord of the Rings name, Krista?
No, he's in our chat all the time. He plays Overwatch, or doesn't anymore. He uninstalled.
You know everybody's Overwatch status. Has Wendell ever contributed to the Linux kernel?
I wrote a Linux device driver once a long time ago for an ISA card, and H. Peter Anvin gave me the major and minor number, but that's about it.
What is your favorite piece of technology of all time and why?
You know, I saw this one and I had to think about it, and I think it's probably the HP 200LX palm top computer.
I think you're looking at it a little too narrowly. Like, the wheel is probably
Yeah, it's a
what I would go for.
water purification, toilets, plumbing.
None of which we would have without the wheel. I mean, you really got to... That's kind of a ridiculous question.
Yeah.
Naramon. You know what? We've got Nomaran in the Twitch chat.
Is that who my... Wait.
And now we have Naramon.
Oh, maybe it's a
They
different
should be
one.
mortal enemies.
I thought those were the same. Oh, now I'm confused.
Oh. Cabal asks, what is your level of education, and would you have done anything different in terms of type of education and or form if you had to do it over again in 2019?
It's a different world today than it was.
I think we've all just got bachelor degrees, right?
Yeah. Visual communication design.
I'm not sure if I could really, talk myself into the college thing in 2019.
It's the cost that has gone up dramatically, and like the college degree is useful. It'll open some doors, but it's not as I think that it's not that the college degree is not useful. It's that what the college degree is has become muddied quite a bit. And when we were in college, it was starting to get muddied. It was like really starting to get muddied in terms of like how useful and applicable that is to like stuff you can get done.
It was pretty muddy when I was already there. I wouldn't mind doing even like I would love to go back and do like a graduate degree, but they would have to pay me to do that. I wouldn't pay them at that point. Because I loved everything I learned when I was in school.
I really like the stuff that I got out of college was more not the classes. It was like everything but the classes. I think was the best experience and like the best as an option, like as an opportunity for like good stuff.
Yeah, it's a good time, but as far as the education, especially in technology, it's outdated by the time you get it, and that's probably more true now than it ever has been, and probably will continue to be more and more true as time goes by.
I'm thinking about it in terms of like, if you go straight into working, I think that would be worse. But if you could work then go to school, yeah,
that would be the ideal method of doing that.
Like just get it's like, I think I want to work in this field, and then you have the edge. Yeah, that would be way better.
A, you can tell like if you like it, and B, you're actually serious enough when you get into school to like try and apply the knowledge you're getting.
Yeah, not just that, but like there were things that I learned in school and I understood on a conceptual basis, but then actually having to solve a problem where that was the tool to solve it with, it was like, oh,
that's why they taught me that.
That's what that's for.
Yeah,
you know, and it's sort of like a lot of math classes are bad about that. You know, once you can apply it, you'll retain it so much better and make more sense. CO Glory, or Co-Glory, I'm not sure how you would pronounce that, says, I guess my question is, why do you do it? Internet fame, but few people offer real things of value for free. Yada, yada, yada.
He wrote like a bunch of nice stuff before that, and that might have been helpful for context.
What's the motivation? Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Why you do it?
Yeah. I mean, we just started doing it, and now we just kind of keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's fun.
No, I mean, Wendell
lives it.
Fucking loves.
Yeah.
I do.
I really don't give a shit about, like, you know, people. I mean, it's nice. I've said this before. Like, the nice YouTube comments are always nice. I'm not going to pretend to be above that because that's very nice. But it doesn't offset missing Sundays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I do miss having full weekends, especially like during camping season and hiking season. But
how can the average user contribute more to the site and community? Plasma donation, and then give us the money.
Give us your young. If you're young, under the age of 18, please give us your blood so we
give
can
us
inject
your
it into
young. Package your babies.
Don't do that. I would say just post more. I can say that, but I don't post enough either. I love post more in the photography thread. I love that thread.
Oh yeah, that is a good thread. You know, I've discovered that I actually kind of like messing with the camera stuff. Like I don't really have any artistic inclination at all, but like trying to set up a shot that's not terrible and getting the focus correct and like trying to make sure the composition is good. I actually enjoy that. Like I wouldn't think that I would, but I do.
Bedhead asks, where did Krista and Ryan's usernames come from? All right, I'll answer this question. So we were going to do the Twitch streaming thing, and Wendell kind of like put in our heads, it was like, these people are crazy. You don't want to get your real identity out there. And so we're like, oh, shit, well, you know, I don't really have, I've never really had like an online name. I mean, I've used various ones when I was younger, but... You know,
were they all really edgy?
So I actually went to a lot of trouble to try to come up with one. I was like, oh, I don't know. I just randomly would look at different things, and I was like, oh, I like that. And Krista was like, mine's just my same name.
It's an old nickname. It's an old nickname.
You didn't try it all.
I didn't try it all. Well, we didn't even use cameras at the time. Like, we didn't use cameras for at least a year. And then we were like, okay, it doesn't matter anymore.
Like, okay, we'll finally get cameras.
Yeah.
Goblin asks, does anybody use Linux as their daily driver? What distro, if so?
I do not.
No, I use it purely when I'm working on web servers or something that requires it.
I use it for work, but my home machine has Linux that I really like. I've got a Linux workstation on my desk too, but I spend a lot of time on Windows.
It's kind of necessary when you work, you know, with lots of other people and you need to make lots of different things work.
Yeah. I spend more time than I would like on Mac too. Damn Macs.
Testing stuff in Safari, the worst browser next to Edge.
Let's compile this with Xcode.
Booker V says, are there going to be more design videos with Krista in the future?
Hopefully, I have to think of better content and also get less nervous in front of a camera. Because I feel super nervous whenever I'm in front of a camera.
You're fine now.
Well, because I have like you guys to bounce off of, and I don't have to like be on the whole time. But I feel nervous when it's just me.
There are sometimes when we're doing the news and it's like, did you not get any sleep? Because you're just sitting there like...
I know. Well, sometimes, yeah. I have a struggle with sleep all the time. But Sundays are rough because I have to get up early and it's nonstop all day Sunday.
Zybob asks, what's Stacy up to these days? What are your favorite books?
Stacy's back there. She's repping the merch.
She stands in the corner.
She's wearing the now unavailable Live Laugh LARP shirt, which we did sell out of. Thank you.
She scares the cleaning people when they come in.
Oh yeah.
And the construction people. They think there's someone standing in here all the time.
She still does the Instagram thing, but she's getting older now, and that's starting to dry up.
Yeah.
It's hard on
Just
her.
like her skin.
Yeah.
That's why you should buy the moisturizer she's peddling now.
Multi-level marketing. She's into that.
Yeah. Essential oils for your
She
skin.
sends us a lot of emails about that.
I just throw those in the trash.
Sesame Street Thug, that's a good username, says, do any of you play tabletop RPG? If so, what RPG and what is your character?
I don't.
I don't.
I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I feel like you need someone who's like really good dungeon master.
Yeah, I
for
wouldn't
that kind
mind
of thing.
doing it, but it is one of those situations where, like, I feel like finding a group of people who aren't just unbearable to be around
Yeah.
is kind of a unicorn, and you need, like, I don't think the three of us could just do it, because we talked about doing that for the Twitch stream, but I don't think 3 is enough.
Yeah.
You have to have a minimum of like 4, probably 5.
Yeah, 5 is probably a lot better. It's been many, many years since I've done that.
Hey, I did it in high school.
The last character that I played was a barbarian, because I always played like a wizard or rogue or something, and that didn't turn out well. Because literally every problem was just Hulk smash, and
Did you not enjoy that play style?
No.
I can't imagine.
I really didn't.
It is maybe something we'll explore in the future, but it's very hard. And plus, can you imagine with this schedule, like let's say that you were doing it, like with a local group, what night would you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no time. There's no time.
Tuesday night's grocery night. Everyone knows that.
I saw you last night.
I saw you too, but I didn't say anything. I didn't wave.
I was
This is the protocol.
I was creeping up on you, and I was going to be like, get out of the way, but you escaped too quickly.
Yeah. I saw you at one point. I was like, oh, should I say hi? And I was like, no, I'm not going to. I'll see you tomorrow. It's fine.
MC Vet says, what's a problem you've had that a piece of equipment, hardware, or software could fix but doesn't exist yet? What would you like to improve about yourselves, channel content, videos in the future?
That's the first one. I had an answer for that one. I don't remember what it was now.
Doesn't exist yet. I would like something to move other cars out of my way.
That's called your car.
Not my car.
You get a bumper. Just a big bumper.
Should
And just
break apart like the delicate flower that she is.
What's her name? Have you given her a name?
No, I haven't.
I don't know. I didn't see this one, so I didn't have a chance to think about it. It's like, what's a problem you have that a piece of equipment, software, hardware could fix but doesn't exist yet?
Doesn't exist.
How about something to completely anonymize your online existence? That would be great.
Oh yeah, that
Yeah.
would be cool. I could go for that.
And what was the second question on that one?
What would you like to improve about yourselves, channel content, or videos in the future?
I wish I was less nervous in front of the camera.
Maybe we should get you like a couple of shots of tequila before you start.
I should just like vlog or something and get used to being on camera and then maybe post that to Patreon.
Speaking with experience of alcohol as a lubricant for camera work, that does not turn out well.
Yeah, I don't
Listen,
want to start that way. Start down that path of alcoholism.
I get real loose when I'm on the alcohol.
Oh, we know.
I've said this before. Everything on the channel needs to be more entertaining,
Yeah.
and more approachable.
Yeah.
We have failed spectacularly.
That's something like I don't know how we work on that. How do we become more likable? Someone tell us.
That's not even really the right thing. It's more just like approachable, I think is a good way to put it. There are a lot of people out there that haven't discovered that they probably really like technology. And so we could do that through entertainment.
Another riddle asks, what is your favorite pet project that you'd like to work on the most if you had enough time and resources?
Level 1.
I'd like to work on webcomics again. I used to do that a lot. That was actually my senior work when I was in school. But I don't have the time to do it because it's a lot of work to draw and also program them.
I don't know if it counts as a project, but I'm really excited it's getting warmer because I can go back to the gun range because that's like the one thing that brings me some joy.
I would like to hike more. That's another thing too.
I tried to send Chris to this amazing deal on a gasoline / alcohol fuel lantern, dual burner. She was like, why do I need this? As if she's never heard of the zombie apocalypse.
Listen, I don't have a bouncy castle. I'm not prepped at all.
So part 2 of this question, another riddle got a little greedy with his questions and says, which product can you think of, hardware, software, cookies, anything really, in your mind, is closest to being perfect?
That is some really good water.
Nestle water. Now, a lot of people...
Yeah, that was controversial in the news the other
We
week.
actually talked about this on the last episode of the news. A lot of people are like, they're just bottling the piss water from your local town and selling it back to you. No. They're bottling the piss water from the Canadians. The way it should be. But the words that you want to look for when you look at these bottles is reverse osmosis. They suck out all the nasty stuff out of this water, and they put the minerals back in. And the minerals are what makes this so tasty. Whatever blend of minerals that Nestle has come up with, it's the ultimate water.
The reverse osmosis is pretty good because there's other reverse osmosis waters that come close, but the minerals are really what makes the difference.
Yeah, Aquafina, is that the Coke brand?
Yeah.
No.
Aquafina's
Dasani.
Coke.
That's
Oh.
got salt in it.
It's sodium. They literally, the minerals they put in are some kind of sodium, and you can taste the salt. It's disgusting.
I can't think of it like a perfect product. Like something I'm 100% happy with off the top of my head. Oh, I have a bungee leash I got for Rue that you can tie around your waist. I like it a lot. It's probably been my favorite purchase. I got an air
How many
filter
times-
recently. Like it.
How many times did she yank you down with that?
Never.
Oh.
Oh, it actually helps me because like when she pulls, I have my full body weight to keep her from pulling.
What is the oldest piece of still functional hardware that you have?
Probably the HP 200LX. I mean, I probably got some older stuff, but that I actually turn on and play with every now and then.
I'm a big proponent of throwing shit away. And when I moved my house, I purged hard. So I got some old MP3 players.
I found my old iPod the other day.
Does
Like
it still
I
have a
got-
functional battery?
Yeah, it still works. I was listening to it in the car on the way over.
I found like a SanDisk Sansa, and it'll plug in and operate, but as soon as it comes off power, it's dead.
I have a laptop like that. Oh, did we just get a notice that we're running out of space?
No, that's just some
Oh.
shell extensions. Umberto. Oh, we probably
This is on
shouldn't say
Twitter.
that. We probably shouldn't say their full name, right?
No, I put their Twitter handles there, but we don't have to read them.
From the Twitter.
Well, we'll say their first name. How did each member of the Level 1 Tech's team start their career in tech? Went to college? Got a job?
It was the .com bubble thing, and it was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to college, and they're gonna give me like a free luxury sports car, and probably like buy a house, and I'm gonna move to California, and it's gonna be great. And then
That didn't
I
happen.
remember
that did not happen at all.
I remember people talking about, it's like, yeah, they're going to give you a car. It'll be a lease, but they'll be giving you a car. And it's like, oh, yeah.
No.
And then the .com bubble. My first job was in like a little tiny office that they had no clue about anything. And they brought me in and they were like, okay, so the first thing you're going to do every day, you take this floppy disk, go to each workstation and copy the files that the overnight team did. And then you're going to take them to this other machine. And I was like, 'cause I saw the network cables run up in the ceiling. I was like, you got a network, right? And they were like, no, we don't. They did.
I just didn't know.
And so I automated that job almost immediately. It was pretty, I wasn't making much money, but I had a lot of free time. Krista?
Oh, I thought we were done. I got into design when I was really young, and we got our first computer, and we had Microsoft Word, and I made a flyer to get the ice cream man to come to my street. And I posted him all over because he always skipped over ours. And that actually worked. He started coming down our street after that.
I think the one common thread, because you are really skilled in surprising ways, and because not really coming from the computer science background, but pretty much.
Yeah.
And I think that the only common thread is that like you find those really amazing people that are really good at stuff that they do, and in every case, they spent just a completely unhealthy amount of time with the computer when they were younger.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone else was like, oh, I guess we just won't get ice cream from the ice cream guy. And I was like, no, we can solve this problem with design.
Yeah, I think probably something that modern kids that age are never going to get to experience is, at least for Wendell and I, probably wasn't the same for Krista, but like where we lived, people having a computer in the home was kind of rare.
Yeah.
It was for a long time when I was a kid, and then slowly changed when I was like a teenager.
First of all, you had to convince your parents to get you a computer or haggle one some other way. And then it was such a piece of garbage that you had to maintain it and, like, you know, figure out all these things. And then one of the biggest motivators was the internet.
Yeah.
And then, like, when we got the internet, you got to remember TCP/IP was not part of the operating system. So it's like, I have to figure out how to get this stupid computer onto the internet because I need that to be part of my world. And then I don't like, there is no modern analog for that, I don't think.
Did you guys have did you ever have a computer in your room growing up?
Come on, Krista.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
See, I didn't. Well, we had one. It stayed in the dining room. It was never allowed in the.
I know I had more than one. I know that Wendell had more than one.
Yeah.
No.
I literally was like constructing stuff from garbage and doing small appliance repair and like trading and bartering for stuff. I had quite the network going.
Yeah. And bulletin boards. That was really cool.
That was how I got on the internet at first. Was not.
Oh, they had that
Not
one,
web rings?
Yeah. That public library you could dial into. And you had to dial it like at least 800 times to get. And when you heard it start making the noises of connection, it was just like, oh my God. And then somebody would pick up the phone.
Oh.
And that was so soul crushing because you knew it would be another 6 hours of dialing to get in there.
Yeah.
They had to call their neighbor. My mom was always calling our neighbor, and it made me so angry because I was trying to be on the internet.
Arson says, why no love for Level 1 Linux channel? Where is Looking Glass?
Looking Glass is coming along really well. You should follow Jeff. He's doing the really good stuff. And I posted a video on the Level 1 Linux channel like a week ago. Thank you very much.
He may have posted that before you posted that video, so.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm working on it.
Itza. Do you think Itza's last name is Mario?
It's me.
Somebody in the forum mentioned that what your workflow is for making a video. That would be interesting to know. Point camera. Press button.
I think we all have slightly different.
We got the editors though.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
And they do most of the post-production stuff.
I like to write a script, or at the very least an outline, and I stick to that pretty closely.
Well, that's a good point. If we do videos where there is a script, sometimes we'll just sit down in the conference room and, just like brainstorm it.
There's a lot of stuff that I'm still getting used to because, it feels very fake to me when we like set up an overly elaborate thing. Not when we're doing a skit. Those are just funny. Well, fun. And, but with some of the
funny in a horrible sort of way.
But like some of the other videos where it's like, I want to like try to show you something or whatever. If I spend forever setting up the audio and the camera and stuff, it just feels very like not real somehow. So
overly produced, maybe.
It's it's obviously not really overproduced, but yeah. I mean,
it feels that way when you're actually doing the setup for it.
And then, like I go and visit with other YouTubers or people that do a lot of camera work, and it's like they do an insane amount of work like that, and it's like, wow, okay.
You don't realize how much goes into it until you start doing it.
Yeah, it's like, this looks like an impromptu off-the-cuff thing where somebody just turned a camera on and is doing stuff. Because that's what, like when you watch a Casey Neistat video, that's what it looks like, but it's like, no, that's not how it is at all.
Casey Neistat's like the definition of overproduced. If you ever watch one of his videos,
but he does. I mean, it makes it seem like he's just like, let me just throw the camera up in the air and turn it on, and just whatever comes out of it is.
No,
what
everything in there is very curated.
Yeah,
looks amazing.
Josh asks, what advice do you have for college students? Where are the hot areas in IT?
Security.
I think probably AI.
Yeah,
going to be a big one. Security is interesting in that, I don't know, I think that's a double-edged sword because you cannot stop people from being stupid. And then even if you warned them, it's still your fault.
Yeah.
Like it's that kind of thing.
That's how I feel in like user experience as well.
Yeah.
No matter how hard you design it to like make it idiot proof, there's always a better idiot.
When they click on that link and get their shit encrypted, they're still coming to you like, hey, why didn't you fix this? And it's like, what?
I didn't think you'd actually try to give this guy money from Nigeria.
Yeah, he said he was going to send your prize winnings, right? I mean, can I have some of the prize winnings?
But advice for college students, gosh, I mean, like we said before, I would really, if you can at all swing this, try to get a job or maybe an internship
Yeah.
in the area before you go to college, even if it's just 1 year, because you're going to see, and not like an internship where you're just getting coffee. And
Something where you're actually learning and doing stuff in your field.
That's going to be difficult to do, I know, but once you have experienced it and you go in those classrooms, you're going to be more motivated and you're going to have a better understanding of what it is. And sometimes you're going to be like, why are you teaching me this? This is antiquated. There's a library for this.
Yeah, I can definitely vouch for I did an internship over the summer before coming to college, and at some points in life I struggled, and the thing that kept me going was thinking about the horrors of life in,
retail.
It's like you can just do the thing that you were doing in the internship, and it's like, nope, I'm good.
Don't want to do that ever again.
I can make it through this. It'll be fine.
Yeah, just more life experience.
And it wasn't completely terrible. It's just that there are better options.
Plus, you'll appreciate, because when you go from high school to college, you're like, man, this is more work. But then when you go to the real world of having a job, where it's like, oh, there are no like 3-week vacations throughout the year. This is every day. This is just life every day. And then when you go back to that in college, you'll enjoy it more.
Yeah.
Slinky, that's not your real name. Slinky says, to everyone at Level 1 Techs, what would be your ideal job/career?
It's something close to this, but perhaps with less terribleness.
Less management, maybe.
I want to be
management. I don't mind managing.
I want to be an Instagram influencer.
I don't think you can be thought enough for that.
Oh, I might surprise you.
I actually really like web design. I don't know if I would switch. If it was an alternate timeline, I might go into something like medical research. That's like alternate timeline.
Aren't you a little squeamish about that stuff?
No, I would be fine. I don't want to deal with the patient though. Like I'd feel bad if they died or if they got really, really sick. But if you're like in a lab setting, just like, looking at the germs and stuff, that's fine.
Don't you have
tissue, whatever.
To get the medical degree, don't you have to do some?
Probably. But I could deal with that, if it was a temporary thing.
There's like some lady that died in the 50s, and they keep growing her cancer. Like when you study cancer, it's like she's still alive, but it's her cancer from the 50s because it just grows and grows and grows.
When you want to leave something for the future, you rarely think about your cancer.
But I mean, how cool is that? That it's just growing forever without bound. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Penicillin is developed the same way.
What if
Penicillin's all grown from the same mold that was growing on a melon.
And sourdough bread.
Yeah.
What if she's trapped in purgatory because they won't let her cancer die?
Let me die.
Sisyphus asks, how tall is Wendell?
I feel like that this is like a prelude to like the security questions.
Someone did post those on the forum, which made me laugh.
What was your, your first car?
Your mother's maiden name.
Street did you grow up
We'll
on?
just say above average. What's the best way? Oh, this is Bryce. And Bryce says, what's the best way to get started contributing to the open source community?
Just do it.
I don't think there's like a lot of... Now, in the modern... It's probably getting worse with all the SJW stuff. But I feel like if you've got something to offer, it'll cut through that.
Yep. It's like, look, here's a talented developer that is solving real problems, not just the problems that exist in their own head. It's like, welcome to the team, Bob.
Listen... If you want to just start stabbing at problems, just find the open source thing that you like. They have a tracker, a bug tracker, and get in there and try to fix the bugs. And they'll tell you if you do it wrong.
Sometimes brutally so in some instances.
Yeah, don't get discouraged by that because that's a good learning exercise.
Bryce also asked, what are y'all's, and he did say y'all's, overall opinion on PHP and where it's going in the future?
PHP, I mean... We use PHP a lot, or at least I do. My opinion of PHP is that it could be better by a lot, but the development that Facebook has put into it is helping it survive a little longer and be like more real enterprise language like. But my favorite like new hot language is probably Go, because it's so fast.
What's the name of the?
Ask Us Anything. It was pinned, but it auto depinned because we were supposed to be filming it today. Grant, you can probably cut this part.
Use the search thingy on the thing. It's very good. Top right.
Or just look under the level 1 text category.
It's very good.
It's kind of a mixed bag, I think.
It's because it's
search.
too short. Ask.
Yeah. There you go.
All right. So we're just going to go through.
Well, a lot of the ones at the beginning, I think we went through. There's probably some that I didn't include, though.
Because
some of them were really long, or some were really specific.
Actually,
there may be
we've done
some newer
all
ones
these.
toward the bottom.
You know what? Let's skip down and go from bottom up. That way, we'll cover as the most we can. Ryan, can you do an absolute beginner's bash class? See, here's the thing about stuff like that. I do like the idea of absolute beginner stuff, but is it not done a million times somewhere else?
We did that one video. You know the one video that we did a couple of years ago, just to be like, look, this can work. That has like 1 billion views.
Maybe we should. I don't know. Maybe we should revisit something
Invest
like that.
more in that.
I do love the idea of getting away from the earlier question about it's like, why no love for the Linux channel? Well, for me, it's because it's all confirmation bias.
Mm-hmm.
You all just,
If you read the
for
comments.
some reason, you want to talk about shit that you already know something about. And I don't know, I just can't get excited about that. But yeah, if you do have people who don't know anything about something and you're like getting on the ground floor, that seems cool to me. But I don't know.
It is a little discouraging with like when I'm doing the gaming stuff, and the gaming stuff is all like, oh, you should do this instead. It's like, but that's not the point.
But yeah, that's probably not a terrible idea. I do like this stuff. This is a bunch of gun questions. I'm not an expert on guns. I just like them. Mini 14, Mini 30, I've never fired either of them. Best wheel gun, never fired a revolver. No, actually, I have fired a revolver, but I don't have any. My favorite revolver, in theory, is the 460, because you can fire all those other rounds out of it.
Wait, he had another question, or he had more.
They had a
there's
lot
like
of questions
20
in
here.
Yeah, that's why some of them were.
Krista, what's your level 1 text achievement you're most proud of?
I really like doing the pranks to everybody on the level 1 forums. I enjoy that.
You talking about like the snow on the forum?
Yeah, I was also really proud when we first started printing T-shirts, because that was the first time I'd had like an illustration I'd done printed in a professional capacity. I've had stuff printed before, but never one of my illustrations.
Here's one for you, Krista. Would you do a monthly one tab of 10 good pieces of design/art, or bad?
Maybe
that's a good idea.
that's a good idea. The issue is sometimes that there's not a whole lot to discuss in like the design world, which is why we don't always have design stories week to week. But
don't you like troll around on all those forums and stuff?
I do, yeah.
We could do like a monthly or bi-monthly video, and
Of all the things that I thought most interesting over the course of time.
like you could present, and we could just sit here and comment on it, so you don't have to freak out.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, a lot of the channels that have like 1 million subs are like, here's the top 5 whatever that I found, and it's just a 5-minute video. So yeah, you should totally do that.
Get by with that.
Not get by with it. I mean, you should just totally do it. He had another question there that I thought it's like, what was the question? It was what piece of software, line of code or command or whatever or hardware received did you say, yeah, I'm the man? I constantly struggle with imposter syndrome, so no, that's not a thing. But one time, this is several years ago, there was one time where I was having a conversation with somebody else in like an office setting, and we were talking about like setting up a server or something that was fairly complicated. And I overheard one employee talking to another employee about a problem they were having with a printer. And I was carrying on a conversation with the first person, but also troubleshooting the problem that the other employees had. And it was just like 2 or 3 clues about what the problem was. And I was like, and then for the first person I was talking to, I was like, hang on for a second. And I turned to the other 2 people, and they'd been having this problem for a long time. Was one of the things. They're like, we're just going to have to replace this printer, blah, blah, blah. I turned to the other 2 people that were there, and I said, the problem is that the paper tray has tabs on the side that indicate to the printer what size of paper is in the tray. And it's got 3 tabs sticking out, and you should have 2 tabs sticking out or something like that. It was a Lexmark printer, and when you change the paper tray thing, that's how it
so
knows
weirdly specific.
what size. Yeah, it was super weirdly specific. I mean, it was just like there is no possible way that you can know that. But if you ever watch
you were right.
Dr. House, it was my Dr. House moment, and I've never had that again ever. But it was a lot of fun, and it was great, and the looks on everybody's faces was just like, that's insane.
I don't think I've ever had a moment like that. I usually am just happiest when a client says that like I've solved their problem. And like they're like, yes, this works. This is exactly what we needed. Like that's the best feeling in the world. I had a client send me flowers once.
There's a
nice
lot
thing.
with when we bring in the younger blood, and as we get older, that's everybody. And there are moments where you show them something, and they're like, "Oh my God, I just spent 3 hours on this," and so that does help a little bit with the imposter syndrome, because I mean, it's just you just amass knowledge over time, and there's no way not to, and survive. How did PGP get its name? Says Bedhead. We kind of agonized over that.
We
Try to
did.
think of something. I can't remember exactly how we came about that.
Because we are professionals gaming poorly.
Yeah, I mean,
that was all we could think. I couldn't think of any other
Have you
names
seen
we
our
had.
Apex streams?
Oh
It's
my
so
gosh.
bad.
I didn't want to do anything like edgy or youthful, because that's not us. And I think the self-deprecation is, if you're going to try to be funny, that's the way to go, especially with that kind of thing. And
Have you seen us? I mean, look at us. It's not even really that much deprecation. It's just reality.
oh yeah, we're definitely bad at them. But the other thing is like, it's not our main thing. We're not trying to be. It would be great if all of a sudden we became insanely popular, but it ain't gonna happen.
That's probably also not. I don't want to say held us back, but like the sponsorships and stuff, because companies are like, we will give you this insane amount of money to do this. And it's like, we're not doing that. That's just crazy. And they're like, I don't understand. This works for other influencers. I was like, we just don't care.
Here's one that
We're not really good influencers. We're a bad influence.
I track this, and this is constantly asked about the podcast version of the Level 1 News.
Yeah.
YouTube has made it more difficult to do that and broke the automation, and we just simply haven't had time to.
I was working on that this week, so.
We need
There's been a lot of
to,
complaints. We've been trying to fix it. But
We need to get a new person to do that manually.
Do that. Oh, yeah. That is actually on the to-do list. I can do that tomorrow.
What is Level 1 definition of normie? Can you create it? I think normie is used. Everybody has a different definition of normie, right?
it's kind of a goofy phrase. Like I don't take it too seriously when I
It's
call
just
someone
somebody who, to me, it's somebody who isn't aware of things on the same level you are, and because of that, they're kind of just going through life happy-go-lucky. And it's almost you look down on them in a little bit of a way, but also there's a massive jealousy.
Well, I think everyone's a normie about something, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but I think of them very much like politically and all that. Like, if you are left or right, if you identify as that, I consider you a normie, because the reality is so much more nuanced, and you can't be one or the other without ignoring a lot of reality.
For me, it's a little bit more, I mean, all that, but also the more that I learn about something, the more that I learn that I have something new that I have to worry about. So it's like, oh yeah, I should totally worry about water coming through the foundation in my house. And then it's like, I start looking into it, and it's like, oh, this is a thing that I have to worry about with like the gutters and the maintenance. It's like, oh, the concrete driveway can sink because of improper drainage. And then so it's just,
I go deep down those rabbit holes too, and I think that's just a symptom of anxiety.
yeah. It's just like, other people just don't worry about it. It's like, don't worry about it. Oh, the driveway collapsed.
Thanks, I'm cured.
It's a very nihilistic approach. It's like, embrace the nihilism. It'll be fine.
Scrolling through the rest. Probably cut this part.
Spork, Foon, or Splade. I don't like any of those tools.
Spork.
I like to split them up.
I think it's a phrase, isn't it? No. I say spork.
Here's a deep one. What is your thought on afterlife and life outside the solar system? It seems like mathematically almost has to be a guarantee, but I think anything that anybody's ever come up with in terms of what that will look like will be dramatically wrong.
Yeah. It seems like the logical conclusion of biological life evolution is some type of biological life that's capable of interstellar travel. But how long will that take to evolve?
This sounds like a standardized test.
Describe these words.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I was like, I don't understand this one.
What do you think about AI? Do you have any fear? I think the fear of AI is it's going to invalidate a lot of human existence.
I think before we have general consciousness, because like the sci-fi villain is AI that, you know, enslaves humanity, but we're not going to have that. The thing that we're going to have before that is an AI that just does its master's bidding, whatever that is. And the first person to come up with like an AI that is very, very good at, say, like predicting the market, they're going to absorb all the liquidity in that market or in the market as a whole. And then at that point, everything basically grinds to a halt because they capture all of the value in the market at that point.
And at that point, you want the prepper lantern that Ryan mentioned earlier in the program.
Well, it seems like things will have to fundamentally change quickly in order to deal with that.
But look at history.
Yeah.
When things change that quickly,
There's a
it
revolution.
gets real bloody real fast.
Yeah.
And think about the supply chain that you need for that level of robotics. Like, what happens when the revolution takes down the power plants that are fueling the AI?
Yeah.
And everything closes. So, yeah, I don't think we'll have killer robots, but we could very well see some serious job market and stock market and all those. I mean, listen, the robots are playing the stock market right now. That's who's trading.
Yeah.
Think about how crazy that is. So we're already in a deep part of it.
It's robots versus robots that are, you know, doing the bidding of basically sociopathic people in general.
Ryan, do you think we should bring in the normies? Yes. We just talked about that. I have not seen move in that direction at all. You're right.
We haven't. It's difficult.
Would you say that, and this is something I don't know that I'm curious about, but like in bringing in the normies, is there some hope that, not that we convert some of the normies, but we help some of the normies discover their passion?
No, I don't care about that at all. I think it's more about making it okay to like something that they might currently think is not cool.
They may even rightfully think is not cool.
Yeah, and I think that's less and less modern day because, you know, like everybody's into technology because of the phones.
Yeah, but that doesn't really count. I mean,
right. Well, can you bridge a phone addict over to something else? You know?
Turn that addiction into something productive. It doesn't even necessarily have to be something productive. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, you know, when I was carrying the palm-topped computer around all the time everywhere, that was something that was extremely unusual.
When I was in middle school, I was always a kid who had friends. Like I guess I was like a little bit aspy, and I couldn't see like social status, so I just ignored it. So I had friends from like all these weird different walks of life, and there was one guy who was like, even in middle school, had started his criminal career, but we were friends, and we were talking about tabletop gaming. Like, to me, it was just like, hey man, you should check out this Dungeons and Dragons game we're into. And it's like, and he did, and he was like so into it. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. You know, you get this guy, and no bullshit, he got arrested for stealing a monstrous manual and a player's handbook from a local bookstore.
Oops.
I'm imagining a Eastern Kentucky bookstore with those items at all, and that's the funny part.
There was just the one.
Yeah.
The town I grew up in didn't even have a bookstore.
Well, ours didn't either. You had to drive for an hour to get there.
What's the biggest IT fuck up that you've done in your life? I've taken down some databases.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of anyone for this one. I forgot to put this on the list.
I bricked a very expensive computer once, but I got it back before they reported to work the next morning.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you're going to have mistakes like that. But
I don't think I've done anything major that I can think of. Like minor things like, oh, I deleted this line and saved it and lost something, but
I remember I bought one of those super expensive early iPods. The ones that were like the aluminum ones that were smaller, but they were really cool. It was super fucking expensive. And I was like, yeah, I'll just change the battery myself. I ripped the ribbon cable.
oh, gone forever. A bunch of questions
It's
here.
no good. Oh, we already did that one, actually. You've already pruned that one. Oh, here's a question from Wendell.
I was replying.
Would you join the dark side and watch anime? I can't get into it.
I watched it some when I was like in high school. I really liked Full Metal Alchemist, the original series. And then the original series went really bizarre. And I kind of got out of it, and then I never found a series I liked after that.
Some of the people I hung out with in college were really into it, and I was like, okay.
I loved Sailor Moon when I was a kid.
Yeah,
too.
definitely. A lot of people I knew were super into. I remember I had this one friend, and he was into anime, but like he wasn't really into anime. He felt like he should be, but he didn't know anything about it. And he was very like Christian and had these weird hang-ups about stuff like that, especially sexuality. And so we went down to the video store. Back in those days, there were video stores, VHS.
Okay, Grandpa.
And he was like, yeah, I'm going to get this anime. I've heard about this. This is really good. And he got like a couple of animes, and we came back to the room and
Oh, no.
popped them in. And it was just tentacles everywhere.
Oh, no.
Like the horror on his face. And he just got up and left. And we just like laughed for 45 minutes.
That happened to me once, except I didn't do it in public. I was at a bookstore, and I saw a section of manga, and I was like, oh, I was studying Japanese at the time because I was a little weeb. And I had free time my senior year, and I decided to pick up one of the books, and I started reading it. I was like trying to determine what characters were which, and I was like, okay, I think it says this. And then I like turned a page, and it was just like full frontal nudity. And I was like, oh, it's that kind of book, and like immediately shut it and felt super embarrassed, but no one saw my embarrassment because I was by myself at the time. But oh, that is the worst feeling.
I heard Ryan mention he has a knife in his pocket. What do you guys everyday carry? Actually, we did the Christmas video about it one time. It's a multi-tool, but it's the Skeletool. So it's got a nice knife on it, but it's also the pliers, and there's a screwdriver. This is a very cool thing. I really like it.
And we found the pair that the building ate.
Where is that?
It's next to the Mac.
Oh, okay.
I have a Leatherman for mine. It's in my purse.
Well, this is a Leatherman too.
I
And
have a
Wendell, he
wingman.
doesn't carry it, but he's got like the big fat Swiss Army.
Yeah, I won't usually carry it unless I'm doing a lot of that like stuff where I need it, and then it's like, okay, I'll carry that for a few days. It's just giant and heavy.
Yeah, mine's also heavy. I kind of wish I'd gotten the Skeletool after seeing it because mine is very heavy as well.
we're hitting some churn here. It's not.
That's why I tried to curate them a little bit.
Can forum field trips be a thing? I think that's kind of like the meetup thing.
No.
M&Ms or Skittles? Absolutely M&Ms.
Yeah.
Yeah, M&Ms. Skittles are fine, but they're not great.
I'm not crazy about Skittles. How much does a duck weigh? There's no absolute answer for that. Quite a few people that did like the book club. We actually were going to do a book club, and Krista and I are to blame for not doing that
Yeah.
because we never read the first book.
It's just, well, the first book was, I did try to read it. I read the first few chapters and was like, this is the driest thing
And
I've
it's,
ever
I
read.
don't even agree. And this is probably a good discussion to have, but I very much disagree with that book because that is no way to live your life.
It's Algorithms to Live
Talk
By
about Aspie.
was the book.
I enjoyed it.
I tried, and I was just like, this is too dry for me.
We might revisit that someday.
I suggested that book to another trade group, and they read it, and I got a standing ovation. But
a standing ovation.
It's cool. Yeah.
Does Boiler Snake have ambitions to move out? Boiler Snake is trapped forever.
Yeah.
It is.
His
Although an electrical mishap with the contractors means that he's currently without electricity.
Yeah, well, it's getting that time of year.
Well, it's gonna be cold this weekend. It's supposed to snow.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to patch it together myself if they don't fix it.
Oh no.
Oh, somebody asked about favorite books.
They did, yeah.
I really, really, really like James Clavell, his Asian Saga. If you're talking about fiction, those are fantastic. Also, the Stephen King Dark Tower series, very fantastic.
I think everybody can get behind the Steve. I'm not even super into but the Dark Tower stuff is very good.
Now, Krista, this is gonna be hard for you.
It is. I'm gonna go with Silmarillion. It's a strong contender. It's my favorite.
I don't know that I have a favorite fiction book.
You don't read a lot of fiction, do you?
I don't really.
I usually prefer fiction if I'm reading.
I don't get a lot out of it because I don't have an easy time relating to the characters.
Will there be more of Krista? No, she's got another wedding to go to.
I saw that. I like that comment. It made me laugh.
She literally does.
Yeah, my own this time. Hopefully, I don't think I have any other friends who are getting married, so I'm running out of friends who are single. So,
how would Krista recommend disposing of a dead body?
I feel like I would not be the person you want to ask for that. I think I'd get a little panicky.
One time, we were having a conversation, and one of my favorite things to do with both of these two is just keep escalating the hypothetical questions.
It gets worse with Wendell because Wendell will be like, maybe I should do that.
But they'll both bite every time, which is a lot of fun. And I was just throwing stuff out to Krista, and I was like, what would you do if you were in an abusive relationship? And she didn't even bat, there was not a millisecond of pause, and she was like, poison. As if it was like, what are you, an idiot?
Listen, ain't nobody leaving this relationship.
Welcome to Exhibit A in some future trial when there's a death in mysterious circumstances.
Oh, no. I wouldn't do that.
We never got to see the end of Krista's conspiracy wall thing, didn't we?
That was one of the very early... it was kind of a self-contained skit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun thing to make. It's gone now because it was drywalled over. But.
Something we should have given the behind-the-scenes patrons was the contractor reactions when they went in to remodel that room.
I wish we'd recorded it. I really wish we had.
Would Krista and Ryan be willing to try and use more of the esoteric Unix Linux stuff? We talked about kind of doing that as, again, going back to the absolute beginner stuff.
Sorry for you that... Ryan's already doing a lot with VI every day.
Yeah, I'm kind of lazy, so when I have to go and I do stuff on the web server, I almost always use Vim. And it's funny because when you learn the shortcuts, you can become very fast at it. And that's another thing that when the interns and the noobs come in and they see you doing that, it's like one of those moments where they're like, holy Christ, what are you doing? But it's really just, attrition.
We had an intern mistype a command a while back and caused some serious issues.
That was an exceptionally bad intern.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Look at this. This is ridiculous.
That's the one.
That was the one that we already read. Yeah, because
okay.
it was really long. It was nice at the beginning, and I was like, well, I don't really want to read all this. So
I think we're moving toward the
ones we've already done. Yep.
Most versatile Linux OS of all time to be used by the masses. That's an answer that
I feel like that's a troll
trying
to bait us into something.
There's always going to be somebody that disagrees. It's like religion. How big is Wendell's Star Trek collection? All of the Star Treks, but not the modern one.
No.
Have you archived those at all?
Yeah.
You have?
Have you been watching them?
I started catching up on, because I've had to do some mindless menial stuff since last Monday. While I was waiting on stuff to restore from backup and all that kind of stuff, I queued up the season 2 of Discovery, and it's bad. It's just bad.
I'm really hoping the Amazon show for Lord of the Rings is going to be good, but we'll see.
It's so bad. I mean, it's a perfectly fine thing to it. Being in the Star Trek universe does not do anything for it. at all.
It should have just been an original show.
Yeah, it would have been fine as an original show.
When are you guys going to do the level 2 text video? I don't know if I think the next version of that has to be a different gag, right?
Yeah.
You can't just be the over the top.
Someone did a really funny edit of that. It was on our Reddit a while back. That was my favorite edit I've ever seen.
I was thinking a funny one could be like really, really, really hipster, where it's like you ever see those like avant-garde German videos, where it's just like the camera quickly pans over and we say one word, and then it's like
that would be
crazy music.
Are you willing to wear a black turtleneck? Because we could get all matching black turtlenecks.
I have a black turtleneck. I wore it for the iPad video on purpose.
Now on Sprockets, we dance.
Credit. Oh, that's the
that's
security
the security questions. Yeah.
I think we've probably reaped as much wheat as we can from this chaff.
There's no more laughs left in this video.
There's none.
Not a one.
A lot of people talking about the normie test. I think the normie test is like, what's a normie? Then you fail. Because you can't be self-aware and be a normie.
I was trying to avoid this so we wouldn't have to scroll through all of it. But
will any of you be going to the Knob Creek machine gun shoot? I don't think so. I will not.
No.
Did Zim ever make it out of jail?
No,
Zim is
Zim's
still
still
around.
there. He's still in jail.
He's one of the characters of The Office.
He is. He's become like the intern trainer.
Wendell, can we get a signature Unicomp board made perfectly to your taste?
That might be the Model F. I don't know. It's on the way. We'll see.
You still haven't gotten your $500 keyboard?
No. It's going to be a few months before it comes in. It was one of those like Kickstarter things. I can't believe I spent that kind of money on a keyboard.
On a Kickstarter?
I blame Scott Wasson. He's talked me into it. It's like, oh yeah, Scott said I should order this. Okay.
He told me to, so I will.
Yeah.
We need that kind of influence on our channel.
What Scott says goes. Yeah, he's probably a better influencer than I am in that regard.
Well, I was going to say, we need to be that way. So that way all the people in our audience do that.
A lot of people asking about the cat. A lot of people asking what car I have. I'm not going to tell you, but I might do a review of the dash cam that I'm using.
Yeah, that sounds really neat.
Which would reveal it. Well, in some ways. Can you recognize it by the hood?
Yeah, they definitely can.
Yeah,
someone will find a way. Yeah,
it's kind of distinctive.
Somebody that can't, they'll just post it to 4chan and then it'll become like a little mini game.
It won't be that difficult.
I asked Ryan, why would you get this car if you just bought a truck? And he said, I have to go fast.
I really agonized over whether or not to, because it's not, the car is one of those things like there's always a faster car, right? I mean, it's just ridiculous what some people do. But for me, at my current financial situation, that was ridiculous. It was a crazy decision, and I don't do it. Listen, the reason I won't get a cat is because every time I start thinking about getting a cat, I'm like, oh man, this is an 18-year commitment. Can I really do this? And that car was one of those kinds of decisions. So, but I really like it.
You'll probably really like a cat too.
Maybe. You know what? I could sell the car.
I wish my mom's cat would lighten up because I can't get it to. It is just, it's afraid of everything and it wants nothing to do with me for some reason.
Well, I think you're...
Yeah, you don't know how to associate with a cat.
Like, you understand that a cat needs to approach you on its terms.
Yeah.
So have you tried just ignoring it?
Yeah.
And it still doesn't come out?
It stays hidden, yeah.
Wow.
That also, sometimes that'll bite you back. That doesn't always work. Also with attractive women. More often than not. They're willing to ignore you. It's the weirdest thing. Yeah. Who would win in a wrestling match, Lemmy or God? I think you're talking about Lemmy Kilmister. Never a big Motorhead fan. I know Wendell is.
Well,
give us one Motorhead song. I might only be able to name one.
Yeah, I don't think I know that reference.
I got nothing.
Level 1 merch. Krista, aren't there like 3 t-shirts in the pipeline?
Yeah, I emailed John a while back. I need to email him again.
Oh,
because I have like two or three different mouse pads ready to go, and just haven't heard anything back from him.
That reminds me, we will be restocking KVMs very soon, but before we put those for sale, We've got 2 other models, an HDMI model and a USB-C model. So I'll be making a video on those. And I'm not 100% convinced that we'll actually do both, but at least have the prototypes. But if we do, then there'll be a video. And the USB-C one's just going to be 2 computers to switch between USB-C. And the other one will be HDMI. It's just HDMI 2.0 compatible. It's not absolutely perfect, so you'll have to check out the videos, but I want to make sure everybody's aware that we have new models before we restock, so we don't have a situation where somebody buys a DisplayPort KVM and then is like, oh, there's new models. I want to return this one and get that one, because that's really hard. We don't want to do that.
I like that whenever you advertise the KVMs, you're like, they're not terrible.
It's
the only way you describe them. They're not terrible.
It's really hard.
You should buy one.
It's really hard to get it right, but they're probably the best KVMs that you can get. But like, it is impossible to have a perfect KVM that works in all scenarios. Like Radeon 7 with the KVM does something weird sometimes, and I can't nail it down. And it's something with the Radeon 7, so it's just like, Jesus Christ, why is it just all I want is a damn switch box for monitors? How can it be this hard? It's pretty hard.
What's your most succinct solution for all of humanity's problems?
Stop being stupid.
Fewer humans.
I don't know that I have one.
And we need to get back to
listen more.
Baseline education. Like, don't count on schools educating your children. That's paramount. Because the schools, you got to teach your kids. First, you got to teach them all the stuff that would get them kicked out of school. Then you got to teach them to keep that to themselves. And I know that's a big thing, which is why I don't ever plan on having children. It's too big a job, but somebody should do it. Is Ron aware that admin dev is basically his doppelganger? No. Krista doing design stuff. We already talked about that. Tiny little bit of design in the news. Listen, that's Krista's. She puts those in there.
Yeah, there's just not enough week to week. Like, there'll be lots of stories, but they're usually so small, and there's not enough detail to warrant having a huge section about it.
Behind the scenes content, we don't really shoot behind the scenes stuff too much.
I try to, but it's difficult because like there's only so many photos you can take of the office before it's like, okay, it's the office. But
your some of the videos that I've seen on like iPad video editing and some of the stuff that like when we were playing around with it that one day, it was like, maybe that would be good for like some behind the scenes off the cuff stuff, because I've tried doing like little off the cuff videos on my phone and it's just basically garbage.
Yeah. It's difficult. Like so I've been playing with iMovie. iMovie is actually pretty easy to use, but like I haven't figured out a good way to get footage, say like from my phone or something, to the iPad without having to use like Dropbox or something every time, which would be annoying. But maybe there's a solution. I just haven't looked into it enough yet.
I did a little project the other day where I mounted a radiator in a fractal case, and it was one of the oversized Intermax radiators, and it would not quite fit. The fan was just a little bit too tall for the memory, and so I took the fan down to the basement and machined the part of the fan away so that it would fit perfectly where the RAM was. And it's like, this would be a pretty cool like little
mini vlog kind of thing.
Yeah, and I shot it with the camera, but it's just too much work to put it together. And but if it was something like I could do on my phone and have it not be complete garbage, maybe that kind of stuff for behind the scenes videos would be interesting.
Just
and
get
good.
an iPhone and then do iMovie. You can still check your Twitter on there.
Let's see what we've been at this for quite a while. Wow, an hour 13?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. That's a lot of content, and I figured that would happen. Again,
if you like this, join the Patreon so that we can do more.
Should we cut like a greatest hits out of this and post one that people will actually watch?
Yes, because last time we did one that was 45 minutes, and it did all right, but I think we could do a shorter one.
Well, okay. Then it's like, that was the greatest hits. If you want a longer version, it's up on Patreon.
Now, we could probably trim 30 minutes of scrolling out of that.
Yes.
But that's still 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We'll see how it edits down.
But yeah. We'll see you guys soon. Thanks for asking questions. We'll try to do these like, I don't know, every like 6 months or so. We did one last year. But
it's got to be, the quality of the questions would have to decide the frequency.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye.